Bruce Mattson here, your host show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and I'm here to talk about a wide receiver who's been drumming up a lot of controversy over on the Twitters. People are bringing this guy up a lot. They're either all in or they're all out, and this is a good sign that this is a speculative asset in the offseason that has some things in their profile that could allow them to go boom, and that could allow them to just fall on their face. They're kind of right there in the middle, and people are taking their shots at it. They're either buying in or they're stepping away. And one thing you can say about this player is that he is in an offense where there are some vacated targets that's going to be spread around. He also had some performances last year that he looked good in. There was also a lot of down points in the year as well. You can't ignore both sides of the spectrum. But I really wanted to look into this wide receiver. I really wanted to see what the hubbub is about. Is he on the down? Is he on the up? I don't want to operate with bias. I want to look at both ways and just give you my thoughts and opinions right now on ADP over at the DynastyLeagueFootball.com. He has an ADP of 73, so a mid-rounder, if you want to say that, depending on how deep your drafts are, being valued as the wide receiver 38 in startup drafts. And this player has been just changing values all off season, and on social media you'll see fights about this guy off and on. They're hilarious. I love making jokes and I'm just to jump things up, but I'm talking about old Gabe Davis of the Buffalo Bills. Going through some of his stats from last year, he had a 9% target share, 12.7 average depth of target, a 33.1% of his snaps were in the slot, 1.62 yards per route run, 3.9 yards after the catch per reception. So why should we buy him? Why should we think about buying this player? One is the vacated targets. Cole Beasley's gone. Emmanuel Sanders is gone. There's 179 vacated targets in his offense. Those targets has to go somewhere. Some of them have to go to Gabe Davis. That doesn't mean they will, but there's a good chance that he gets an increase in target share. Buffalo's offense last year was on an incredible pace, 26.3 seconds between plays ran, and had a 60% pass rate while averaging 42 pass plays per game. The volume could produce his fantasy production, could give him that fuel for the fire to allow him to be a good fantasy asset. Why not? Why shouldn't we invest in him? One, they drafted James Cook. That is an indicator that they're looking to use the running backs in the passing game or even use them even more. James Cook is a pass-catching specialist. That could eat in some of the target share. They added in Jamison Crowder, older wide receiver, but he's very nuanced. Looks like he should command a lot of the snaps out of the slot. He had a 17% target share last year. He's been off and on with injuries, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got that Cole Beasley share of the targets as well. Maybe a little less, maybe about the same. Who knows? But we cannot ignore him either. Emmanuel Sanders 8 over Gabe Davis last season. They allowed him to get more running offense. He had a higher target share. He had 17% target share versus Gabe Davis's 9% target share. So you can't ignore that one as well. Not much yards after the catch. He averaged 3.9 yards after the catch per reception, which means he's a player that catches at the ball, doesn't get you much after that. Pretty much a catch and fall down wide receiver. Josh Allen drives targets to Stefan Diggs. And to the slot receiver, Stefan Diggs is a big proponent to the offense. I think last year he had about a 26% target share. He could push for 30, 31, 32%. He's that type of wide receiver, and we could see that happen. We could see just more targets going to Stefan Diggs. He is a stud wide receiver still. He's getting older, but he still has the potential. Another reason to buy is there's a lot of older wide receivers in the offense. Jamison Crowder, Stefan Diggs. There is attrition that could occur. If the attrition happens, they may have to lean on Gabe Davis in the offense. They may have to use him more in the short to intermediate routes to funnel those targets. And you don't want to bet on injuries, but when you have older wide receivers in the offense that could create some ambiguous situations, and the sheer volume in the passing game, whether Gabe is the number 2 or the number 3 wide receiver in the offense, the volume could really fuel him. So what is the forecast here is attrition's going to be huge for his production profile, because I see Stefan Diggs just being the man still, and the rest of the wide receivers are going to have to get in line for what they want. And realistically, we should see a bump in target share. Realistically, on that, maybe 15 to 18%. Is that enough to buoy him in the wide receiver 1 range or top tier wide receiver 2? Probably not, but that could allow him to be usable. But when it comes to fantasy football, it's all about price. Startup draft ADP, wide receiver 38, which is not bad. But I think you'll be surprised with what's going on in the trade market when you look at the DLF Trade Finder. Mind you, these are trades that actually happen on MFL, and they've just been curated off the app. He's been traded 1-for-1 for Devonta Smith, 1-for-1 for Michael Pittman, so his value in some leagues are through the roof. Been traded 1-for-1 for Damian Harris. Those are big different variations in value that you see there. 2 second-round rookie picks, the 204, TJ Hawkinson's, a 2023 first, him and some late picks for a 2023 first, Rachaad White straight up. So the difference between Rachaad White, Michael Pittman, or Devonta Smith, pretty big change in value. Darren Waller straight up, James Conner in a second, him plus a couple seconds for Leonard Fournette. So you're adding picks to get Leonard Fournette. Kadarius Toney in a second, Carson Wentz in Superflex, a 2023 second, Laviska Shenault straight up, Allen Robinson straight up. So when we look at the trade market, he is all over the place. In some leagues, he is cheap, and you can get him for just an asset that you don't really want anymore. In other leagues, you got to pay up. You got to give him Michael Pittman. You got to give him Devonta Smith. You got to give him a 2023 first. You got to give him Darren Waller. In other leagues, you can get by with throwing a second, maybe a couple seconds you don't want. Maybe Kadarius Toney if you're out on him. Maybe Carson Wentz if you don't want him in Superflex. There are a lot of room here for you to be creative for Gabe Davis, whether you want to buy or sell. In some leagues, he's a straight up sell. If someone's valuing him for Michael Pittman, Devonta Smith, 2023 first round pick, he's a sell. You can really get a good player or some assets for him if the price is right. In other leagues, he's a hold because you're not getting really much for him, and just seeing what happens with this asset may be worth more than the draft picks you're getting. In others, it's a toss-up. It's what you want. Maybe you would rather have the mid-second round. Maybe you would rather have David Bell over Gabriel Davis. Maybe you would rather have James Conner and have the short-term production. But my job here for you guys is to help you be creative on your trade market, give you ideas so you can make the best decision for yourself. For me, when you first initially look at this prospect profile, it screams sell. But when you look at everything in a basket, you also got to look at the values, and the values are screaming kick the tires in your league. Kick the tires on buying them on the cheap, kick the tires on selling them high, kick the tires on whether you can get what you want out of them, using them as a package up piece. With Gabe Davis in your league, just kick the tires, see what happens on everything. Whether you want to sell high, sell low. This is a weird player that we are evaluating because his value is all over the place. Startup draft value isn't everything. ADP isn't everything. It's the market in your league. And the fact that we got all these different trades to look at means that all these leagues are valuing him different, which means your league is valuing him different from my league, and my league is valuing him different from his league, and his league is valuing different from this gal's league, and it's just all different, and we just got to kick the tires and see what we can do with this cat. Maybe you can buy him on the cheap, and you got him as a wide receiver 10 for free, and you dealt some rookie picks you didn't want. Or maybe you sold him high. You got Michael Pittman or a wide receiver in that area or Devonta Smith, and you're just rolling because you got a good value out of him. Maybe you were able to trade him for a running back you know he's going to get a lot of touches this year, and you just want that production for the short term. Just think about what you want to go after, and there's nothing wrong with being told no. That's the thing. You get told no a bunch of times, but you're going to eventually be told yes too. So just keep grinding on that trade market. Gabe Davis is just an interesting cat. The values are all over the place. Don't listen to social media 100%. Don't listen to Startup Draft ADP 100%. Explore your market. Kick the tires. Kick the other manager in your league in the shin. See how they're going to react, and then go from there. But let me know your thoughts about Gabriel Davis. Are you buying? Are you in? You out? Or you're just a tire kicker like I am, just trying to explore values, because that's kind of like how I like to play. Let me know what you think. I really want to hear about it. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Every subscription matters. It fuels me with helping you with your Dynasty teams. It fuels me with helping you finding clips on these players in OTAs, mini camps, training camps. Really helps boost the channel up a bit. And I'm always game with giving you these topics to make you think about getting these trades done in your league. But again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.